What's up, guys? Today I'm gonna do a head-up challenge. Assault Supply S2 versus the Sabre home defense launcher. They're both 68 caliber, less lethal launchers. This one's $230 if you just buy the pistol. This one is $150, plus or minus like 10 bucks, depending if you use coupon codes and stuff like that. So I have Grimburg Joules V3s. I was going to use my alien plays to do this, but I'm probably just going to use the Joules V3s for now. I will do another video later with the alien plays. I just want to give these time to rest. It's not that warm outside right now. It's like 59 degrees Fahrenheit, about 15 Celsius. So I'm just going to, since this can do 7 shots on one mag, I'll do 7 shots with my S2 and I'll get like the average joules off the first 7 shots with both of them, and then I'll load up more ammo. This can easily do 14 shots. This one might not be able to do 14 shots because this holds 5 in the mag and you can hot load one in the breech. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have 5 in here right now, 5 Joules V3s. I'm gonna pop it in, pop it out, load one more because one will be stuck in here, and then I'll have 5 in the mag and 1 in the breech. And yeah, I'll see if I can even get 14 shots out of this. Usually it's kind of on the cusp. It just basically depends on the CO2 that I'm using. I'm gonna be using Crosmans on both of these, and I'm gonna puncture it, fire all the shots, and then reload and fire all the shots again. So I'll see what I get, but I'm going to do the average joules on the first 7 shots because this one can do 7. And when I reload this one, air escapes out this valve, and that's going to hamper the second magazine. Assault Supply doesn't do that, but it also can barely get 14 shots. Sometimes I get like 12. So I'm going to load everything up, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, I got my S2. It's not punctured yet, but I have the Joules V3s in this magazine. I'm going to load it in here. Now there's one in the breech. I'm going to pop out the mag, and then I'm going to reload with another Joules V3. All right, here's the 6th Joules V3. So now this has 5 in the magazine, and there's 1 in the breech. So I'm going to take this over to my table, take my chronograph, take my other mag, and put a couple Joules V3s in my pocket. I'll put 5 in my pocket because I don't think it'll get 16 shots. It usually stops around like 13. Sometimes I get 15, not all the time. So I haven't punctured this yet. I'm going to puncture it right now and see what it chronos at. So here's the S2. Here's the pierce cap thing. Here's my Crosman, just to show you guys I'm not doing anything weird. So Crosman CO2, I'm not sure if it focused, but it's Crosman. I'm gonna puncture this. So it's punctured, and here's the first shot. These are Joules V3s, 7.7 grams and 682 to 684 bore size. 238, 228, 218, 208. I put no oil in this, and I'm going to put no oil in the Sabre. 204, 198. All right, that was 6 shots, so I'm reloading. So I'm reloaded now, and here's shot 7 through 12. 200, 196, 192, 186. I think that's it for rounds. All right, there's one more in here. 180. I'm gonna reload really quick. All right, you guys, I got 5 more Joules V3s, so this will be shot, I think this would be shot, that was 11 already, so this will be shot 12 through 17 if it can land them all. 184, 154. I don't know, guys. I think it's gonna run out right now. 148, 114. I doubt this will do anything. It didn't catch speed because it was less than 100 feet per second. But yeah, pretty sure this is done. So randomly, it was able to do 16 shots on a CO2. I'm typically only able to get like 13, but sometimes I'll get, 3 full mags. But obviously, that last magazine, the third magazine, is like really slow. So yeah, this thing's out of gas. I'm gonna degas it. And for the average Joules, I'm gonna use the first 7 shots because the Sabre can do 7 shots in the mag. I still haven't tried hot loading one in the breech. It's like how you can do with the Pistol X68. I haven't tried putting one in here and then loading 7 in here. I haven't tried that yet. This has 7 Joule V3s in it. I'm gonna clear out the box. I'm not gonna puncture this yet until I start filming again. All right, you guys, Joule V3s are out of the box. They're all here, 16 of them, and I'm really surprised the S2 shot all 16 of those. But yeah, I'm gonna use the first 7 rounds for the average, and then I'll get on with the Sabre. So this isn't punctured yet. I'm gonna puncture it right now. I'm gonna load it in the launcher and then puncture it. So here's the Crosman CO2. Put it in here, twist it down just so it's like almost tight but not punctured. Load this bad boy up. I'm gonna put I'll put 7 more rounds in my pocket, and I'll just put 14 rounds in my pocket because the Sabre can shoot more rounds than the S2, but the speeds go really low on that third magazine. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be like 7 joules and stuff by the third mag, but just to keep it fair, I'm going to give you an average of the first 7 shots because this can hold 7 shots, and then I'll do like the 14 shots because this can do 14 with 2 mags, and every time I pop that out, it's going to lose some pressure because that's just how it works. Alright, so there's nothing in the breech. Here's my reloaded Sabre magazine. Punctured CO2 is not punctured yet, and I'm just gonna move over to the bench trash can thing. Alright, you guys, here's the Sabre. I'm gonna puncture this thing and see what it does. Damn, I got a leak. Something's leaking, so this isn't going to be good. 244, 238, 224, 212, 204. I'm not sure what was leaking. I'll have to try this again a different day. 194. 186, and that's out. I'm gonna reload this. So I'm not sure if it was my brass valve that was leaking or if it's the connection in here. I haven't had that happen on the 12 gram CO2, so that was a first. When I reload it right now, I'll see if it leaks. So this is 7 more Joule V3s. I did a clean pierce. Like, I didn't want to keep tightening this down, and it's lined up with the seal pretty good, so I'm not sure what that leaking was about, but no leaking on that one. So this is shot 8 through 14. 178, 168, 158, 152, 144, 138, 136, Out of shots. So I'll just stop it right there. I mean, I'll load up a third magazine, but this is not going to be strong. Plus, I had a leak, a random leak, that kind of started quieting up after like the third or fourth shot. And I'm pretty sure these aren't going to be that strong. Because, yeah, I'm just going to do the average of the first 14 shots. But I will do this again, a different day. It's just coincidentally, this thing started leaking for some reason. It's not leaking anymore, but that first CO2 is going to have all the pressure. 150. So this is sort of not the best data because of that leak, but it did perform pretty good the first three or four shots. I feel like I'm going to run out of air right now. Or it's just going to stay low like this. Okay, if I get a reading on this one, I'll be surprised. 0, and I think I'm out of ammo. I think that was actually blank. So I'm going to get all the Joules out of there. I'm going to get all this data and go over it. I'll write it on a piece of paper and I'll be right back. Just in case you guys are wondering, how do the punctures go? This was the Sabre puncture. This is the S2 puncture. They look pretty clean to me. They're both about the same size. If anything, the S2 one is a tiny bit wider. You could barely tell, but it's just a little bit wider. I always have the Sabre one always ends up frosting up, and the seal looks fine. So I don't know where that leak was coming from. Either inside the marker itself or from the seal, but as I keep using it, I'll see if I still get leaks. But yeah, I mean, that could happen anytime if you had to use an emergency or something. I'm not knocking Sabre, but yeah, that's just unfortunate that happened. But I mean, I still got pretty good power out of those first like 4 shots, which is how I thought it would perform. But overall, on the 7th shot, this was shooting lower speed than this one on the 7th shot. So I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, I did all the math, and it's kind of shocking, but it's kind of cool at the same time. So the S2 and the Sabre, this was the first 7 shots right here. And let me get my pen. So this line right here is the first 7 shots, which is kind of weird for the S2 because you can hold 6. So here's like the 6th shot, which is like the first magazine plus 1 hot loaded. And then this is the 14 shots right here. This is all the joules and speeds. So on the first 7 shots, the Sabre had the advantage on the first about 4 hits. And then they tied up on the 5th shot. And then the 6th shot, the S2 just had a tiny bit more FPS. And on the 7th shot, the S2 was just a little bit higher. But that could be because after 6 shots, I have to pause for a second, reload the magazine, and then shoot again. So it could have been lower, but the S2, there's no way to hold 7 shots. And so the second magazine for the Sabre, it was going lower than the S2. So this is shot 8 on both markers, shot 9 on both markers, shot 10 on both markers, shot 11 on both markers, 12, 13, 14. So as you can see, on the second magazine for the Sabre, which is shot 8 through 14, versus the S2. So these little lines right here is when I was reloading the magazine. So a more, I guess like a more natural way to use the S2 or use the joules, I guess, on the S2 would be, first 6 shots, get a average, and then 11 shots, which is 2 magazines, get the average. So I did that, and I did the 7 rounds, and I did the 14 rounds. And this is shot 15 on both markers. So yeah, by the 15th shot, kind of even by like it kind of surprised me that the S2 did good, because usually by like my 8th shot, I have like a pretty large drop in speed, which did not happen today. Uh, right here was my large decrease in speed. So it went from 184 to 154. So that was actually, this is shot 11 right here. So 12, it got up to about 13 shots, and then it had a fat decrease in speed. Or I guess you could say the 12th shot. So 12th shot, it stayed pretty steady. And then 13th shot, it went down about 3 joules or about 30 FPS. And then kind of stayed consistent, and then it dropped again another 30 FPS. And then it went down so low the chrono couldn't read it. So if it was like 90 feet per second, it'd be like 3 joules. So, but I'm just using the average of the 7 and the average of the 14. And then for the S2, since it's more natural to have 6 shots, because you can hot load one and then reload, and then you could reload and have 5 more shots. This is what this is, these little lines, like hash marks. So I have all that stuff down here, and I'll show that right now. This was the Sabre like 3rd mag, which is just getting weak and weak and weak. Probably wouldn't use it. So these are the 7 shot average for the S2 today was 16.36 joules. The 7 shot average for the Sabre was 16.61 joules. So it was a little bit higher. They're pretty much like neck and neck. Even with the Sabre having the leak, whatever that was, it was still performing pretty damn good. The first 14 shots for the S2 was 13.84 joules average for 14 shots. And the Sabre 14 shots average was 12.55 joules. So that's where it saw it got beat by the S2. And a more like natural way to use the S2 would be do 6 shots, which is your first mag plus 1 hot load. And with that average, it was 16.7 joules, which is just a tiny bit more than the Sabre, but they're pretty much neck and neck. And then if you loaded a second mag in the S2, you'd be at 11 shots. And the total average for 11 shots, which is basically 2 magazines with the S2, is 15 joules on the first 2 mags was the average. 15 joules average with 2 mags just for today. It's not warm outside. It's 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 degrees Celsius. I will try this again with the Alien Play aluminum balls. The ones I'll be using are probably the smaller ones that are like 677. Maybe I'll use my 680 ones. I'll probably just use the 680 ones because I haven't used those yet. 680 bore size. I'll have to weigh them. I'm going to assume they weigh 7.2 grams, just like the other ones, but I'll weigh them just to double check. So yeah, pretty neck and neck for both of them. The only thing that happened was this, for some reason, this started to leak. I don't know what it was going on, but I just wanted to shoot it before I have issues and like loss in power. But like I said, I'm going to do this again. I'll do this again with the Alien Plays, and I'll do it again with the Grimburg Joules V3s. If I do it again right now, it'll probably be like 55 degrees outside, and it wouldn't be like optimal conditions as far as outside temperatures and stuff. So I'll just do this on a different day when I have either when it's warmer or hopefully this doesn't leak. Maybe I'll try piercing the CO2 when it's not in the launcher. Maybe that had something to do with it, because yeah, this is like a pretty new launcher. It's not that old. Like I've only had this for like 3 weeks. I do put oil on this every once in a while. I feel like it's not an oil issue. I feel like it's just something random. It was like loose or something. So I'll try piercing the cartridge first, and then I'll stick it in here. And that little like nipple thing in there, that's where it's resting up against. So that was the first time I've had the CO2 on the first CO2 of the day. That's the first time I've had an issue with the Sabre leaking or hissing or whatever was going on. It might not even be this. It could be something else inside. But after like the 4th shot, it started quieting up. So that was pretty random. Don't know what that was. But it did perform on the first magazine. If you're going by the 7 shots, it was just a tiny bit higher than the S2. And then on the second magazine for the Sabre, the 14 shot average, it was like 1 joule lower, 1.3 joules lower than the S2 with the first 14 shots. But yeah, like I said, you would probably, get your 6 shot average on the S2, 16.7 joules, and then you do your 11 shot average with the S2. And this is how mine performed today. If I did this test over and over and over and over and over and over, these would slightly change. These numbers would slightly change. It's never going to be constantly always the same. But yeah, that was pretty cool. In my opinion, they're both pretty good launchers. They're not the strongest, but they do get the job done. And yeah, this one's heavier. The S2 is heavier than the Sabre. The Sabre's pretty lightweight. There's not much in here because I have taken this apart. I have videos of what this looks like inside, and basically it's hollow all throughout here, and there's like a valve and like the firing mechanism, sear spring, your bolt and stuff in here, and then the breech up there. But this thing's very light. I think I weighed it. It was like 450 grams with the magazine, and the S2 is pretty heavy. I'll go upstairs right now and weigh it. All right, you guys, got my balance on. This Sabre does not have any rounds in it, and it does not have any CO2 in it. 552 grams. It's not that heavy. The S2 is the same. There's a mag in it. There's nothing loaded in there, and there's no CO2 in the handle. I do have this flashlight on there, so I don't know what that's going to add, but the light's not that heavy. But yeah, 822. So it weighs, let's see. We'll tear that, and then that will be zeroed out. And so the S2 weighs 270 grams more than the Sabre. So yeah, it feels more sturdy. The S2 feels a lot more sturdy than the Sabre, and I haven't had any weird issues of it like leaking like how the Sabre did. But it didn't really affect the performance. In fact, it was doing better on 7 shots than the S2. But the 6 shot average was better on the S2, and the 11 shot average was better on the S2, and that's with, the normal way you would use that versus trying to do 7, get an average, do 14, and then get an average of 14 shots. So yeah, pretty much neck and neck. And yeah, I'll let you guys decide, which one's better. But I'd like my S2. This one's kind of growing on me. But yeah, there's just been a couple random little things that have happened with mine. Like the leaking and then the farting, which, I mean, it hasn't happened on the first CO2 yet, and that's when it would really matter the most. Yeah, the farting hasn't happened on the first CO2 yet, and that's when it would matter. Because if you're going to use this in emergency, you'll want to pop your CO2 and just mag dump on somebody or whatever. And I haven't had that happen with the S2. Like, I haven't had this leak yet, luckily, and I haven't had like a random other leak inside the valve anywhere. Yeah, I'll try this again with the alien plays, and I'll weigh them. I'll check the bore size, just double check and make sure I'm giving you guys, good information. And thanks for checking it out. And yeah, like for it's like a $70 difference between these two, because this is $230. This is $150. Maybe like I think I got mine for like under $140, like $138 or something, because I was able to use a promo code and stuff. Pretty much like almost the same. It's just this is more sturdy and this is really lightweight. So, and then obviously the way that they load ammo and stuff, because this is all one unit. CO2 and your ammo is in here, and on the S2 the CO2 is in here and the mag goes right here. So yeah, there's just some differences between them, but I don't know, they're both kind of cool. I don't mind like learning how to use different launchers, and if I keep practicing with them, even if I rotate them out, I get more accustomed to using them. So yeah, thanks for checking this one out, and I'll make another video with the alien plays in a couple days, maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure yet. So I'll see you guys next time, and have a good one.